All right, now we're on to the eye. First thing that we're going to start is labeling both pieces, okay? Or both grids. I'm purposefully going to switch it up. So I'm going to number across the top and bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to letter down the sides. And I'm doing that on purpose to show you that it doesn't matter. Just as long as your image grid labeling matches your empty grid labeling, you're good. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C. A, B, C. Okay. All right, guys, ready? Okay, on our last worksheet, I think we started with the overall eye shape itself, right? We're gonna start with the iris on this one. And the reason why we're doing this is that is gonna help those of you that have like not really understood the gridding concept. That's gonna help you the most because the iris is off-centered. So this is gonna help you, okay? All right. The iris is going to be mostly within the 3B area. The left-hand side of it comes just a little bit into the 2 column. So I'm going to give you guys some rough guidelines on where I'm going to put it. So kind of the very top of it's going to go there. Very right-hand side of it's going to be there. The very bottom is right above that grid line. And the very left-hand side is kind of right in there, okay? So that's where I'm gonna go ahead and try to draw in, try to draw in as perfect of a circle as you're able. Mine looks a little on the smaller side. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going, but I think it's a little too small. Okay, I'm gonna take out my guidelines. So if I really wanted to correct that because I'm saying it's too small, and if I really want to be true and accurate to my grid, I do need to correct that out. So I erased it, and I'm just gonna kind of follow what I'd already drawn. I'm just gonna make a bigger circle. Okay, and then pupil is going to be kind of in the middle. Okay, something like that, guys. It does have a little reflection. And I think it's kind of I'm going to put it offset just a little bit, kind of up here in the upper left. Okay? Now we're going to work the eye shape around it. The tear duct barely starts in the 4B area. And we're going to go to where the white of the eye stops. Hold that thought. Okay, so tear duct is starting kind of right here, kind of right above that grid line also, and then the white of the eye stops on the left-hand side about halfway through B and 2. The top of the eyelid actually cuts off I should say the bottom of the eyelid actually cuts off the top of the iris, and then the bottom of that eyelid skims that grid line. So there's kind of our guidelines to put the actual shape of our eyelid in. Thank you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, off of this left-hand guideline, I'm gonna start kind of right in the middle. I'm gonna make my arched eyelid curve, so I'm coming up that line, and then I need to kind of sink down pretty quick here to hit this guideline. Oop, struggling. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Once we hit this right-hand side guideline, that's what turns our tear duct. Remember, it's not a sharp point, it's a curve. Okay, so over here on the right, along that guideline, I'm gonna round that out. Okay, then I'm gonna go up with that a little bit. And then the bottom of this eyelid basically just skims along that grid line. And then we'll come up and meet right there. Okay, I'm looking a little funky over here, and I think that's just because I have my iris too far over to the left. I'm not being actually like 100% accurate and true to my grid. So that's not good. Okay, I erased out the top half of my iris, and I'm gonna erase out those little vertical guidelines. Then I'm gonna make my little water line, and I'm gonna make that little dividing line that shows the difference between your tear duct tissue and the white of your eye tissue. Okay, so I got a little down and to the left spacing there for the tear duct, and then that water line is like that really thin, almost like crescent moon type kind of situation there. Okay, we're gonna come back up here to this very left-hand corner, and up at the top, we're just gonna extend that line out by about 1/4 of an inch, because that's technically what our eyelids do. And then we're ready to put our eyelid crease in, and I'll kind of mark it in 3 different places, and then I'll do kind of a connect the dot situation. Okay, so technically it ends over here in the B1 box. Its highest point is almost touching the grid line between 2 and 3 in the B row, and then it starts barely in 4B, kind of right in here. And then now I'm gonna kind of connect those 3 lines together. Don't worry about it if it's not a perfect like half circle, because they never are. Very rarely will you have any perfect anything in anyone's face. All right, next, let's get the general like eyebrow shape in. Starts over here kind of in that bottom left corner of 4A and does just a nice little gradual, really gradual, soft kind of upwards arch spanning all the way from 4 to 1. Once it's over in the 1A box, starts making a downward turn until it touches that grid line. Okay, then it kind of comes back up to leave a little empty corner. And then it kind of hovers out straight here in A2. Yeah, I'm just doing an outline. I mean, we are going to fill it in with detail. Oh. Okay. All right. For this eyebrow shape, this is the only thing that we're technically shading. Just put in just a really light base layer. It really doesn't even matter like what direction it goes in, because we're going to be putting details on top. Okay, when you guys do hair texture, it is going to be very important that you either keep your pencil really, really, really sharp, or you use a mechanical pencil that'll give you those really thin lines, okay? So for eyebrows, the closer it is to the middle of the face, the hairs are gonna be straight, and then as we move more towards the left, they're gonna start growing on like more and more to the side. And I'll probably be turning my worksheet as I'm doing that because it just ends up getting easier to draw that way, okay? So sorry if I'm kind of blocking the, let's see if I can kind of turn it here. Okay, so straight up. Sorry if this is really weird looking. I'm trying to not, and I'm not succeeding. I'm trying to not block it with my hand on my video. Okay, you guys are gonna have to get the gist. Okay, so we got straight hairs here. And we're gonna kind of start, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate my worksheet. Okay, as I move more and more to the left, then more and more of these are going to lay down. The longer and longer you make these, the wilder and wilder they're gonna look. So like those eyebrow hairs are going to look really, really long if you're putting in really, really long lines. Okay, so we got something like that. And now the last thing that we have to do is just put in eyelashes and we're done. I have figured out today that I suck at doing left-hand Nike swooshes. I can do right-hand ones, but I have to super concentrate at doing left-hand. So right-hand ones, I can make those and they look pretty nice without me thinking about them. My left-hand ones, they're not as great, okay? So eyelashes, they grow along the bottom or like along this part of your eyelid, and they are going to first grow down, and you loop and then kind of flick your pencil up into the left. Okay, that one has split ends. So be careful. Like I said, I don't do left-handers very good. I'm gonna erase that out. That one had like 3 different ends on it, okay? So you go down, curve, and flick. So these I have to, all right. So from me to you, sometimes you gotta practice things. Okay, as you are approaching the iris, these start getting shorter. They don't hook down as much, and they start kind of straightening out. So like this one, that should be pretty straight. As I'm moving over into the right side, they're gonna start kind of curving that way, and they're gonna start getting shorter. Okay? Bug. I don't usually come in and fill in a bunch over here, but I will come back and fill in over there. Okay. So just word of caution, if you pick someone that's got some Nice set of falsies. So you're going to be sitting in this area for a while. Okay? All right. That's basically it for the eyeball.